All right, today we're going to dive into one of the most unbelievable business stories ever told. It's not just a success story, it's a wild ride full of failures, betrayals, and some of the most epic comebacks you can possibly imagine. We are talking about the journey of Apple.
So that's the big question, right? How in the world does a company literally started in a garage go on to completely change, well, everything? Our phones, our computers, the way we even think about technology. Okay, let's get into it and unpack this incredible story.
So you'd think a story worth $1 trillion would start in some fancy high-rise boardroom, right? Well, nope. It all begins in the most humble place you can think of, a garage.
Picture this. It's 1976. You've got two guys named Steve, Jobs, and Wozniak tinkering away in a garage, about to start a revolution. They had basically no money, so they had to get scrappy. Jobs sold his beloved VW van, and Wozniak sold his prized calculator. I mean, can you imagine? All just for a chance to build their first computer, the Apple I. And you know what? It wasn't pretty, but it worked. And that one simple fact was about to change the world. So after the Apple I, the Apple II just explodes onto the scene. It's a massive, massive success, and the company is growing like crazy. But, and this is a big but, with all that rapid growth came some very serious problems brewing just under the surface. The Apple II was a monster hit, and suddenly cash was just pouring in. But that success created this huge divide inside the company. That scrappy garage startup vibe, it was crashing head-on with new corporate realities. And you could just feel it. The cracks were starting to show. Something big was about to break.
And then, this. The absolute unthinkable happened. In 1985, Steve Jobs, the visionary, the co-founder, was fired from his own company. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The guy who literally started it all was shown the door.
And you can see exactly what happened next. It was like the company just split in two. With Jobs, you had this clear, innovative path forward. But without him, it became a rudderless ship, totally lost. Innovation just ground to a halt, and Apple started to fade into irrelevance.
So let's fast forward a little over a decade. The company that was once this industry titan, yeah, it had become a cautionary tale. Basically, a textbook example of what not to do.
By 1997, things were beyond bad. We're talking months, maybe even weeks, away from going completely bankrupt. They were backed into a corner, totally desperate. So they did the one thing nobody saw coming. In a move that absolutely stunned the tech world, they brought Steve Jobs back.
And Jobs' comeback plan was just brutally simple. First thing he did, he took a hatchet to their bloated, chaotic product line, just slashed it down to a few key things to focus their energy. Next, he made everything about great design again, making tech beautiful, simple, and intuitive. And maybe the most important part? He brought back the vision. He said, we're not just making beige boxes anymore, we're creating experiences people actually love.
So, with a clear vision and its founder back in charge, Apple was ready. And they were about to go on a run of innovation that wouldn't just save the company, it would change society as we know it, forever.
With the company stable again, the stage was set. And what came next was a series of products that would completely redefine the 21st century.
This new focus unleashed an incredible string of hits. It all started in '98 with the iMac, that fun, colorful computer that literally saved the company. Then in 2001, we got the iPod, boom. The entire music industry turned upside down. But it was in 2007 that Apple revealed the one device that would change it all, the iPhone.
And just look at this number. Try to wrap your head around it for a second. Over 2 billion iPhones sold across the globe. That isn't just a successful product, right? That is a cultural phenomenon that has completely rewired the modern world.
And here's the crazy part. The iPhone was just a beginning. The key thing to understand about Apple is that they don't just follow trends. They create entire new categories. Think about it. The MacBook redefined what a laptop should be. The iPad literally invented the modern tablet market. The Apple Watch did the same thing for wearables. Each one a brand new game. And all of that innovation led to this. Just look at this chart. That's not just growth. That is a financial explosion. The company's value just skyrocketed from millions to billions, and then eventually into the trillions. That's a T, a number so vast it's hard to even picture. It cemented Apple's place as one of the most valuable companies in history.
Okay, so what is the secret sauce here? What's the thinking behind this unbelievable run of success? Let's get into the why and explore Apple's core principles. Well, it really boils down to these three pillars. First, relentless innovation. Always pushing for what's next. Second, an obsession with simplicity, making the most complex technology feel totally effortless. And third, brilliant branding. We're not just talking about cool ads. We're talking about creating an entire experience and a community of fans, not just customers. And this quote from Steve Jobs himself just nails it perfectly. Focus on what truly matters and remove everything else. That's it. That's the whole philosophy. It's about a ruthless focus on what is essential, and that isn't just a nice motto. It is designed into every single thing they make.
And just for fun, here are a few mind-blowing facts to put this whole story into perspective. Get this. At times, Apple has held more cash than many developed countries. That iconic minimalist logo we all know? It actually started out as a multicolored rainbow. And of course, the founder who built this entire empire was, famously, a college dropout.
So, if you distill this entire incredible journey down to just one core lesson, it has to be this. Start small, dare to think bigger than anyone else, and most importantly, never, ever give up on your vision.
And that brings us to the final question, one inspired by Apple's own philosophy. In your own work, in your own life, what's the one essential thing that truly matters that you should be focusing on right now?